So, the main metal detecting effort was undertaken over 5 years by 4 expert detectorists. They were working in their own time, they were not paid to do it, they were working in their own time under an agreement with the landowner. And they were working within the windows of opportunity that were afforded by the cultivation cycle, because this is a working farm. And they're working very closely, of course, with the landowner and his contract farmer. And every field of this 170 hectares was detected at least twice to make sure that we didn't get any false negatives or false positives. With the detectorists, as you can see on this slide, walking a couple of metres apart, so that the swing of the detectors covered literally every inch of ground. Every find of archaeological significance was precisely located using a handheld GPS device, geographical positioning system device, and that's what Rob is doing in this photograph. And the time spent detecting was also recorded so that we could work out the rates of find recovery. Because there's no point in knowing that you've got clusters of material in particular places if that cluster is the result of people just going back to the same place time and time and time again. That would give you a false positive. So they recorded the time they spent detecting so we could use that to calibrate the retrieval across the area. And the result of that, after all the finds have been identified and all being fed into the geographic information system, was that we can accurately plot what people lost in the past across this slice of landscape. And the different distributions of different types of objects tell us what people were doing and where they were doing it. So, metal detector finds, the metal detecting survey recovered about 130,000 items. And of that, only about 5,201 in fact, were of archaeological significance. And broadly speaking, that's a national criterion dealing with material before AD 1700, or of some intrinsic value if it's dated in that period. And what they found included a lot of bits that had fallen off modern agricultural machinery, and a lot of lead shot and shotgun cartridge cases, as here, because you've got the residue of several centuries of gentry sporting activity across this landscape. But you do get, which is the highlighter, is that the highlighter? So you can see how a shotgun cartridge case, when you first see it, might be mistaken for a Roman copper coin, but lead shot will not be mistaken for the very rare English gold shillings, which have been found from the site. Now, of the archaeologically significant material, just under 1,400 items, including just under 300 coins, were early medieval, 5th to 11th centuries. And the majority of these dated to the 5th to the 8th centuries. And their distribution, which is shown here, clearly indicates that there is a concentration of activity at this time over an area of about 50 hectares. So the pink fields on the map are the ones which were surveyed by metal detecting, and this shows how that evidence of activity in the 5th to the 8th centuries clusters in this particular area around this little tributary stream going into the River Deben, with a promontory here above the Deben and land rising to the interfluve on the other side of it. And I've got an image here of the crop marks that were plotted against the grayscale of the magnetometry. Basically on magnetometry where you have a dark area, that indicates that below ground you've got some sort of negative feature, some sort of archaeological feature. And there are 3 things I just want to point out on this. The church is down here, the current Norton Hall is here. This line, which trial excavation proved to be an early medieval boundary ditch. This little rectangle, which is where a crop mark of what appeared to be a timber hall was identified by Sarah Horlock and her colleagues working for English Heritage's National Monuments Programme, and the blobs in this area, which trial excavation demonstrated to be building remains and rubbish pits. Remains of things called Grubenhäuser. And Grubenhäuser are the